Hello traders, very good afternoon and first of all, so today I'm recording this video. Today is the 15th of February 2020 and this is episode 76 of post-market analysis. So yesterday I was a bit caught up with work, that's why I was not able to record the video. I started my work since 6 and I was free till 11 in the night, so I had a very hectic day. So sorry for that, and so I thought today I'm having some bandwidth, so let me share today's analysis. So this is episode 76 of post market analysis by Tradeducation, and before I share today's analysis, just to give you a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. And lastly, whatever information I'm sharing is for educational purposes only and cannot be used for any trade related activity. So with that, let me just, let's see, how the auction developed yesterday. So let me just, share my screen and let me first move to the daily chart. Okay. So what has happened was, so earlier, so this was the budget day, budget announcement. Then we had, one time framing up. Then we had a sort of balancing or a sort of a retest to shake out the weak buyers. And then, we had a sort of continuation. Okay. So what is happening is, if you see, as the prices are increasing, with the increase in prices, if you see the range, they're decreasing. So a lot of activity and balancing, so the range is, actually pretty less for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the 7 sessions, the range was, pretty less. So this indicates that, all the short-term traders, they were, actually trading this market mainly on the budget day, then on the day after the budget day, then this day, and also yesterday, that is Friday on the 14th of February. That's where the big players were entering, and they were actually trying to shake out both the weak hand players. Okay, so if you see yesterday, what we had is we had a more of an outside bar, and where it took support was again around the 20 EMA, and what it did is it first shook out the weak buyers, and then it trapped them, and then they took out the weak sellers. Okay, so this was a sort of a not double distribution, but basically there were stops which were built around the highs and also around the lows. Okay, so a lot of stop hunting was seen. That's why yesterday we had a sort of an outside bar. And if you see, looking from the volume perspective, if you compare yesterday's volume with the the other volumes, they are pretty less. So this is what I use a lot to indicate where, so with the rise in price, whether the volumes are supporting or not. Okay, so this you do start observing, because this will give you some clues in terms of whether these big players are playing in, or whether the auction is entirely owned by the retail players. Okay, or the small scale short term traders. Okay, so moving on to the market profile chart. So there were a couple of references which I kept, and one of the important references was the prominent point of control, or the RP-POP. Okay, so this is the today's, I mean say this is the yesterday's open, and what has happened is, so what I shared earlier is, higher the odds that the this will be getting cleared, and my point of reference shifted to if I would have traded, I would have shifted to the 12th of February high. Okay, and what has happened is the auction went higher, and around this level is where the sellers again tried to step in. Okay, so this is also very important reference level, which you should ask that why the auction stopped at this particular level. Okay, what is the logic, or why it stopped here. Okay, so the answer to that is pretty easy. This is where market profile provides you some sort of an edge, and if you see, this level is nothing but an LVN. Okay, it's a low volume area node, and that's where the Nifty, that's where the sellers again try to step in, and there was very low. So basically there were low volume, so both the sellers and buyers, they were not interested in this price. That's why if you see exactly around this level, this is where the auction halted, and then we saw continuation, so the auction reversed, and then we saw that the auction reversed, and then what it was trying to do is, whoever was going long, it was first of all trying to shake out them. So that's why, this B period, C period, and then we had a sharp downfall in the D period. Okay, so D period is the one, which actually was a sort of a stop hunting activity, because there were a couple of stops, which were built around the yesterday's low. Okay, plus if you see, yesterday's low is a few ticks away from the half back. Okay, so this reference line was also a very weaker reference. Okay, so that's why, a lot of stops were built, and that's what has happened. Okay, that's what has happened. So this was also again the single print zone. That's where, it halted. Okay, so this is how, you have to trade. You have to understand the context, and you have to create your own trading plan, and that way, many people ask me, that you are having a lot of lines. Okay, why are you having a lot of lines? Make it very simple. But you do not understand is the reason why I'm having this line is to measure the confidence, the market confidence. So if you see, this line is nothing but the 12th of February high. So once the auction reached here, and the B period high was unable to be taken out, then in the C period is where, you could have taken a short trade with the first target of, the yesterday's low, which was easily achieved in the D period. So this is, a good trade location. Okay, because here your stop was B period high and your risk to reward. So this was the risk, and the reward was, almost triple. Okay, so it was 1:3 risk to reward from the intraday perspective, which is pretty good. Okay, so this is how, you should trade, and that's how I use market profile. So it's up to you guys, because I'm not, my objective is pretty clear. My objective is how can I be more, what do you call, so I am actually improving a lot since last 1 year. My confidence has improved, and right now what I'm doing is I'm doing this small account challenge. So basically, if you check the video, so there is, my target is, to make 1% every day. Okay, so for 20 sessions, if you are making 20% in a month, that's like really amazing. Okay, I am still not making 20%, and currently I'm still way below below my targets. Then the reason is, mainly the emotions. So the reasons why I'm failing is mainly the emotions. Plus, sometimes I do not trade as per my plan. Okay, sometimes I try to anticipate, and sometimes I just wait. My fingers, they are just want to, so they give me the charts, they give me confirmation, so I just go ahead. So I need to, basically, stop work most of on the FOMO side, that is the fear of missing out. Okay, so that's what, currently, and that is what, currently I'm working on. So coming to what will happen on Monday. So currently, there is a new sentiment, which I think which was yesterday, and it was, the try for the telecom sector to, basically pay all the dues, all the fine dues by Friday 11:59 p.m. IST. Okay, so I don't know what is the logic, behind this, but basically what I'm seeing here is, that the big players already knew that. That's why, we are seeing a sort of an effect that they already knew about the news. And second thing is, they are now trying to push the markets again harder. So the weekend, whenever the news come in, the market would have, accepted, and big players have already built up their positions, and now they are just waiting for the momentum players to step in, and then, take the auction much lower, so that the smart players who have sold here, they can exit with pretty good profits. Okay, so I don't know what is the logic of, releasing the news, but that is the only thing, which I'm seeing, that they are trying to infuse the news to attract the retail players and the momentum players to jump in the news, play the news, and so then, they can, make the money. And from the downside, if we see, then there is a prominent point of control, and this will be the last, I would say, it will not be last, but I think we still have this gap, which has not been filled. So I am expecting, up to the, if we see, Okay, so let me shrink this chart. And now what I'm expecting is, so my first point of reference will be the prominent point of control. So if an auction goes below this, then there should be a sort of retest, and that is a confirmation to, again do a short trade with a target of, 11,750. Okay. If this does not happen, what we'll be seeing is, we'll be seeing a continuation to the upside. If this is seen, then there are this clustered highs, which are being placed. Plus, one more thing, which I don't know whether you guys were able to see or not. But basically, if you see yesterday's high is just a few tick away from the, the 11th of February's high. Okay. So higher the odds that, we'll be seeing continuation to the downside with the first target of, the prominent point of control. Okay. Plus, there is this gap up also. So higher the odds that, that we'll be seeing this gap getting filled and this prominent point of control also getting clear. Okay. So that is what, I'm expecting in Nifty. Okay. Moving on to the, let me see from volume profile. So let me clear this all. And where are we? So this is a balance. Okay. So it's okay. So this is the 1, 2, 3, and 4 day balance. And then we have this gap. So we are way below the gap. I would say not way below the gap, but currently we are trading around the value area lows. Okay. And one more thing is, if you see, we have this sort of a trend line. So there are stops, which have been built at all these levels. Okay. So what my thought process will be for trading on Monday is, or my trade plan will be, I'll be seeing where the open is. So if the open is around the volume point of control, and if it sees some sort of exhaustion and it again tries to reach, then that will be a good opportunity to short with the target of filling the gap. Okay, so filling the gap is what I'm seeing. And then or else if it spends a lot of time, if it's not giving any clarity, and if we see a stop hunting going on, and then that's where I'll be again taking for a short position. Okay. So I'm again a bit biased from the short side compared to the long side. Okay. Now moving to the bank nifty. So bank nifty is already showing signs of weakness. It is already showing that it is bearish, and it is already crossed below the 20 EMA. Okay. There are weaker highs, the last 3 days. If you see this too, there are weaker highs, and where the auction is halted, so this was the point of reference, and it has tried to halt at this level. And there is this one more level. So this is around 30,600 or 30,000. I don't know which is the exact number, but about 30,500 is the level. Okay. So bank nifty is clearly showing the signs that it is already in a bearish mode. And so these are the two references which I'm keeping. And this is again a few ticks away. So let me just quickly jump to the market profile chart, and I'll share what I was monitoring. Okay. So day before 14, so on 13, what we had is, we had an outside bar, and again today we had a continuation to the downside. I would say not today, but on the 14th of February we had, so this was an outside bar, and then it tried to auction. So this is the open. The auction tried to trade in the range, and then again sellers tried to step in. Okay. And if you see where the value developed around the way below the yesterday's low. Okay. So the value is already migrated lower. And the trade plan here was, I was actually monitoring a reference around this single print zone. Okay. And right from the open, so this is the open, so this is the open, what we are seeing is it tried to reach there, enter there, and again the sellers try to step in. So in bank nifty, it was a very clear trade to go for a short trade, keeping a first stop. So this would be a stop loss, the day before yesterday's high, and this would be your first target. Plus, if you see, there were poor highs, there was a prominent point of control, and we also have this failed auction sale. So there are more references or weaker references on the downside, and that's what happened. Sellers tried to step in here, Then it cleared all these weaknesses. Plus, if you see, there were stops which were built all these levels. Okay, all these levels is where the stops were built, and that's what has happened, and it has cleared. Okay, so let me clear this, let me delete this all. And what has happened is, so if you see, where is the low is around the HVN. So this is the HVN, and it's then again buyers tried to step in, and then they took the auction higher. Okay, now with this downfall, there are also some weaker references which I'm seeing on the upper side. That is the triple mechanical reference, then the weekly high. Just a second, let me delete and let me redraw. So this reference, then this reference, plus we have this clustered highs, the weak highs. Okay, but I'll be waiting that this reference is getting cleared, and then so I'll be just waiting that we are seeing continuation to downside or not. There is also single print here, so based on the Monday's opening, it will be giving me a clarity to trade for the coming days. Okay, so now my point of reference is yesterday's high and yesterday's low. Okay, and I'll be also monitoring this level. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing in Banknifty, and from the volume profile chart, let me, so it has already broken the balance and is already trading in this range. So let me expand. Yeah, it's still weaker. The bank nifty is still weaker, and what I'm expecting is there is a gap. So let me shrink the chart, and we also have a gap. So this is the gap which has not yet been filled, so higher the odds that I'm expecting this gap to get filled. So this is not far away. This is 30,900 and this is 30,200. Okay, so this is a 500 point, maybe in 1 day or 2 days, what I'm expecting, that this gap will be getting filled, and then around the prominent point of control or way above this, again the buyers will try to step in and they will take the auction higher. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing and expecting, or anticipating, I would say, not expecting, anticipating in the bank nifty. Okay, and let me see. So Reliance I'll not cover. Crude oil, we are just seeing a one-time framing high. So this is the daily chart, and what we are seeing is, so if you draw a trend line, so let me redraw it again. So if you just connect this, so again the short-term players are just buying at every dip, and if you follow this triangle, ascending, descending, I don't know the name, but so we have a sort of a breakout about this triangle, about this triangle. Let me redraw it again. So this is one triangle and this is another triangle. Okay, so we have a sort of breakout on the 14th of February, and now we should see further continuation to the upside. Okay, here the 20 EMA would be acting as a level of resistance. So let me just jump to the market profile chart, and there are more weaker references on the downside compared to the upper side. Upper side also there are weaker references, so I'm still not clear. I'm still not getting any clarity. But I think on Monday, where the auction will open, is the right opportunity. So I'll be not covering crude for today's session, and I think with that, let me end this session, and would say thank you, and would request you to please do like, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get notified for the upcoming videos. Okay, and Monday also Monday also I'm traveling for work, so I won't be able to share my analysis. So I think maybe Tuesday is where I'll be connecting again with you folks. So I think yes. So have a great weekend, and let's again connect on Monday or Tuesday based on my availability, and see how the auction is developed. Thank you, and take care, and bye for now.